The great hall had never been so loud, yet she had never felt so silent. Torches burned along the stone walls, their flames dancing as nobles filled the room with whispers, laughter, and expectation. Silk dresses brushed marble floors. Golden rings glinted beneath crystal chandeliers. This was the choosing ceremony, the day omegas were claimed, the day futures were decided. And in that sea of voices stood a girl who had none. She waited at the far end of the hall, hands folded carefully in front of her, eyes lowered. Her dress was plain, pale fabric, no embroidery, no jewels. She had been dressed not to be admired, but to be endured. Then, one by one, the Omegas stepped forward. They smiled. They spoke their names clearly. They bowed, laughed softly, displayed grace they had been trained to perfect since childhood. Alphas watched, judged, chose. Then her name was called. She did not answer, not because she refused, but because she could not. The murmurs began immediately. Is she mute? Why would they bring her here? An Omega without a voice is useless. She walked forward anyway. Each step echoed through the hall, louder than any word she could not speak. She stopped at the center, head bowed, hands trembling, just slightly. The King Alpha sat upon the throne, tall and broad-shouldered, his expression unreadable. He waited. She said nothing. Silence stretched. And then laughter. Soft at first, uncomfortable, then cruel. The king lifted one hand. A single motion. Dismissal. And just like that, her life was decided. She was not sent home. There was no home to return to. Instead, she was led downward, past the polished halls, past the warm chambers, down into the stone belly of the castle, where light faded, where the air smelled of dampness and decay, where the forgotten lived. She was assigned work no one else wanted, tending the sick, cleaning blood from stone floors, holding hands as fevered bodies shook through the night. No one asked her name. No one waited for her answer. At first, she believed she deserved it, an Omega without a voice, a burden, a mistake. But something strange began to happen. When she sat beside the dying, their breathing slowed. When she touched burning skin, fevers eased. When she stayed through the night, fewer bodies were carried away by morning. The healers noticed. They did not understand it, they only knew results. Still, no one thanked her because she was silent, and silence in the kingdom of Alphas was invisible. It began with livestock. Cattle collapsed in the fields, horses refused to rise. Then came the children, small coughs that turned into choking breaths, fevers that no herb could cool. The healers tried everything. Incantations failed, potions turned bitter and useless. The kingdom whispered of a curse. And while the nobles argued, she worked. She moved from bed to bed, from cell to cell, absorbing pain that was never hers. Each night she returned weaker. Each morning the kingdom woke up stronger. No one noticed the exchange. The King Alpha was the last to fall, strong, proud, unyielding, until one morning he could not rise. His chest burned, his breath rattled. Fear entered the throne room for the first time in generations. The healers failed him. The court panicked. And then someone remembered. The mute Omega. She was summoned, dragged from the lower halls, brought before the throne she had once been dismissed from. She knelt. The king looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time, and recognition flickered in his eyes. She was not born mute. Her voice was sealed. Long ago, a prophecy was spoken. An Omega empath would be born, one who could carry the pain of many, one who would save the kingdom and die doing so. To prevent it, her voice was taken, her power hidden, her existence diminished. But power does not disappear. It waits. She placed her hand upon the king's chest. Pain flooded her. Years of sickness, fear, guilt. She did not scream. She absorbed it. The king breathed again. The room wept. Healing the king was not enough. The curse was everywhere. So she stayed, day after day, night after night, healing, absorbing, fading. Her hands shook constantly now, her steps slowed, her eyes lost focus. The king begged her to stop. He offered her the crown, the throne, everything. She smiled, the first smile anyone had ever noticed. The kingdom woke up healed, the halls rang with celebration. But she was gone. In her chamber they found a broken necklace and a letter. I was silent so the kingdom could speak. I was forgotten so the kingdom could live. Now let me rest. The throne remained empty, and silence was finally honored.